Back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut this ruffled dress for a little girl. So the first thing I did is to cut out the fabric I'm going to be needing. So this is basic. So throughout from now till Christmas time, I'm going to be adding a little bit of kids tutorial on my channel, so in case if you want to make anything for your child during this period. So this here, you can do it with just any little fabric you have, and plus it's like two different colors, so you can always attach two colors together if the fabric is not enough. So you see what I'm doing here, I have this fabric here, and this is what it looks like. It's not even, I think it's like half a yard, right? Half a yard. So you see, I'm going to fold it into two, and then I'm going to fold it again this way. So I'm going to make it a little bit like a line, but not really. So what I'm going to do now, I've folded it again. So now I'm going to start inserting the measurements I'm working with. So the width I have here after folding it is like 9 inches, and the widest is 9 inches, the widest part I have here. But so the widest part I need is 28 divided by 4 is like 7 or so. It's not really, it's like very loose on her. So 7 inches is what I need, but you see I folded my fabric to be about 9 inches wide or 9.5. So what I'm going to do now is to go up to the shoulder and start inserting my measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is about 10 inches divided by 2 is going to be 5. So I'm going to insert my 5 inches here, and then I'm going to put in my armhole, and the armhole I'm working with 12.5, so I'm like almost 13 inches. So I'm going to put that here, divided by 2 is going to be 6.5. so put that in here, connect my line just like how you make adults wear. I'm going to go ahead and put in the shoulder slope somewhere here, about, I'm going to come down like half an inch or so on this shoulder, and then put in my neckline. So I'm going to use 2 inches for the neck. To do is to come down here and put in the opening for the neckline. So I'm going to make it 2.5 by 2 inches, and then connect it this way, and then mark this way for the front neckline, and then 1 inch for the back neckline. So connect it this way. If you want, you can bring down your neckline a little bit more for the front, and then I'm going to connect this shoulder slope all the way to this point, and then give it my armhole curve. And then from here I'm going to divide around the chest measurement by 4. So if I divide it by 4, I'm going to have about 6 inches. I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it, so that's going to be 7. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to connect this line all the way to this edge of this cloth. I'm going to connect it all the way to the end here. So use your ruler so that you can get a straight line. I'm going to connect this here. So like I said, this is not really going to be that much an A line. So you see, this is what I have here. So I'm going to go ahead, but I'm going to cut out only my back neckline. I'm going to leave my front neckline for now. So guys, I know you'll be thinking I didn't say anything about the length. The length depends on you. You just have to measure from the shoulder to where you want it to stop before the ruffle, and then add 1 inch to it. So you see, the shoulder to where I want it to stop before the ruffle is like 20 inches, and then I added extra 1 inch to it, half an inch for joining the shoulder, half an inch for joining this bottom part to the ruffle. So what I have to do now is to separate this into 2, and then I'm going to cut out my front neckline. So I'm going to separate the back from the front. So this is going to be my back, this is going to be my front, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut out my neckline for the front. So I'm going to cut out, I think I'm going to go down more than this. So this is going to be my front neckline, and then for the back I'm going to go down by 5 inches on a straight line, because this is not going to have anything other than a button at the back. So I'm going to come down by 5 or 6 inches down, all the way down here in a straight line, so that I can be able to make a facing for it. So somewhere here, this is going to be the opening so that the head can fit in. So at this point here, all you have to do is to also go ahead and cut your sleeve. So I'm going to measure out what I have as the armhole. So for me, I have about, let's say about 7 inches, because it's 7.5, but there's half an inch is still going to use to join this shoulder, so I'm not going to add that. So the rest is about 7 inches. So you're going to take what you need as your sleeve, measure the length you want to use as your sleeve, and add 1.5 to it. 1 inch for folding the end, half an inch for joining the top part here. So you see, this is what I'm going to use for my sleeve. And then you're going to make sure that when you fold it this way, that 7 inches of width fits in. So I'm going to fold mine and make sure that the 7 inches fits in. That's the 7 inches I got from the armhole, and it fits in here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So guys, this is the sleeve, what I'm going to be using for my sleeve, and I have 2 of them here. So you see one on top of the other. So I'm going to just fold it this way and measure that I have my 7 inches here, right, for my sleeve. And then I'm going to just come down here by about 2.5 or almost 3 inches for my sleeve height, cap height, and then connect that line and connect it in a straight line. And then I'm going to put this tape this way from this point to this point and measure. That's from the end of this line to the point of this curve here. And then I'm going to figure out what I have in from that length. The length I have is 8 inches. That's this line here is 8 inches. Halfway through is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark that 4 inches, and then I'm going to give it a curve facing down and a curve facing up. So this is basically how you mark your sleeve, right? And then you're going to put the sleeve width, and then that's like, for me, is about 8 plus 1 is 5. So I'm going to, 1 is because of this seam allowance, and then I'm going to connect it this way from this point here to this point. So remember, round the sleeve is 8 inches for me, divided by 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this here and cut out the sleeve. So guys, as you can see, I've cut out my sleeve. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead, fold the end of this sleeve here. So separate it first, and then I'm going to fold the rough end, right? Fold it just like how you fold the end of your cloth. Do it for the 2 sleeve, and then I'm going to attach the ruffle at the top parts. So guys, this is the ruffle I'm talking about for the sleeve, and the width I'm using here is about, let's say, 4 inches of width. And remember, this is another color that you're using. So this here is going to go right on top of this here, and I have 2 of it, and I've gone ahead. So you see, I've gone ahead and so close the end. So I folded the 2 ends. So what you can do now is to take this here, one of them, and go ahead, take the top part of your sleeve and just gather it on top here all the way to the end. You can just cut out a ruffle that is 2 times the width here, but what I did is, because I don't want mine to go all the way to the this end of the sleeve. I want it just somewhere in between, from this point here to this point here. So I measured round from this point this way, and then I measured round from this point to this point this way, and then whatever I got, 8 inches, I made sure to cut about 16 inches of width for that. And then what you're going to do is, once you cut it out, you're going to go ahead and reduce the side, right? So I'm going to chip off about, let's say, I've already told you guys that I have 4 inches here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here by 2 inches and reduce it a little bit, like in a straight line, blend it in this way, right? Because I don't want the ends to be that long. I want like the ruffle to taper down when it's coming to the side. So now you're going to notch the center of your ruffle also. So you see, I've notched the center of the fold, and then I blended down this part. So what I have to do now is to take it right side facing each other. Right side of the sleeve is up, right side of the ruffle is up. So all I have to do is to place the notch on itself, and then I'm going to gather it all the way, just sew it down all the way till I get to that point that I made here, this mark that I made here. And then get out the other one also until I get to that point that I made here. And then I'm going to have my ruffle right on top of the sleeve. And don't forget to also fold the end of your sleeve. The next thing I'm going to do is to finish up the facing for the back. I'm going to take this here, just cut out a piece of fabric that is longer and wider than this opening. You're going to place it on this opening here, and then you're going to make a stitch all the way around, coming up again, and then you're going to split it open. So guys, now that I've sewed it, I'm going to just go ahead and cut it open. So cut it open this way, and then you can be able to flip this inside out. That way you now have a facing for this here, and then you're going to iron it. After that, so you see, if I flip this in now, I now have a facing here. I've gone ahead and attached one sleeve. So I'm going to show you guys how you're going to attach it. So basically what you have to do is cut out what you need, like I said before, and then you're going to reduce like 2 inches from the end. So this is the one for this sleeve. I'm going to notch the center, and then I've already marked where I want it to end. From this point to this point, it's not going to go all the way through the end. So you see where this one here ends, even at the back, it ends halfway through. So I'm going to go ahead, and as you can see, this as it's coming down is narrower here, but this part here is longer, but this here is shorter. So I'm just going to go ahead now and attach this. So all I have to do is just to place this notch I've made at the center here to the notch on this sleeve here, and then I'm going to just go ahead and sew it down on the sewing machine and gather it all the way to this point. So guys, this is it here. I've attached this one. So now I'm going to go ahead. So you see, this is my sleeve. I'm going to now go ahead and join this to the body and close up the side too. So guys, this is the dress right now. So I've joined the two sleeves and you can see the ruffle here. So now I'm going to join the gather to the bottom, and to join the gather to the bottom, all I have to do is to cut out. So you've already measured from the shoulder to where the dress will stop without the ruffle. Now you're going to measure the shoulder to the length you want for your ruffle, and then you're going to add 1.5 to it. So this is my ruffle here. I've added 1.5 to it, and I have about 4 inches left. So what I cut initially was like 5.5. So I used 1 inch to fold the end here, and then half an inch will be to join these bottom parts here. So I'm going to go ahead and join this gather here, and then use bias to finish up the neckline, and that will be it. Yeah, I've finished up the neckline with bias. So all I have to do is just to put button on one side, and then I have the loop on one side. So that's basically it. See the end of the dress, and like the picture, you see that it has a different color on the ruffle and the ruffle at the bottom. So this is something you can make with just the least amount of fabric, and you can combine two fabric. That way you can even combine two fabric, reducing the amount of, let's say you have a little of this and a little of this, so you know that this one here will serve as the ruffle, and then the other piece of fabric you have can serve as the body. So that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.